Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
What's love got to do with this? What's love got to do but a secondhand emotion? I'm just quoting from the beautiful and talented Tina Turner. What's love got to do with running a business that's profitable and enjoyable? And I understand you're probably thinking, wait a minute, what have I just gotten myself into? Hold it. If you're passionate about doing the work that you're meant to be doing and love living a happier existence and an inspired life while doing the work that you're supposed to be doing, which basically is work that matters for people who care, I invite you to open up your heart for this episode today, because we're going to be talking about love. And I'm going to be talking about love in the sense of being there for your customers and actually creating for and relating to them. The reason why this is very important is because we now live in a world that is now jaded. We now live in a world where it's now dog eat cat, right? And people are left confused. They don't even know, what's real and what's not. And my mission is to help inspired coaches and consultants like you to build a brand that you're proud of and create a lifestyle that you love. So we're going to be talking about marketing with love and how you can elevate your brand from all the other Me Too coaches and consultants out there that are just fear-mongering and hoping that they can spray and pray their way to the bank. And it don't work like that, because I know you want to elevate your brand so that you can create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So we're talking about marketing with love. And those are two words that can never be found in the same sentence unless you're an internet explorer. So I'm asking you to really have an open mind with regards to this, because you should literally care that people love you. You should literally care that people will talk about you at a barbecue, okay? I understand you might be saying, I'm just doing what I'm doing and things of that nature. But if people don't care enough to see you existing, throughout, the longevity of your brand, then you, my friend, are not going to have a business at all. Okay, so why should you care? It's because people's BS meters are evolved, and with this evolution comes skepticism, right? When people are skeptic, they will never buy. And why am I talking about this today? Because I literally just responded to a PR call out by some tabloid who is saying, what sort of trends are you seeing in the marketing industry coming up? And I know a lot of people are going to be talking about AI. A lot of people are going to be talking about chat GPT. A lot of people are going to be talking about TikTok and all the trends and things of that nature, but not a lot of people are going to be talking about love. Not a lot of people are going to be talking about how you can create for and relate to your audience. Not a lot of people are going to be, really encouraging their audience to know what it is that they want their target market to ask them to do for them. So that's why the online prosperity experience is always at the cutting edge of what is actually trending. And what's trending is what's in your heart, my friend. Okay, all those sneaky tactics and fear-mongering are not going to win you any fans. We now live in a world of sophisticated and savvy consumers who actually demand genuine connections. You know what people want out there? People are looking for belonging. They're looking for connection. They're looking for peace of mind. They're looking for status, and they're looking to be valued. Is your brand helping them achieve that? Because we all understand that as human beings, we're all hardwired to connect. And in that search of meaningful connection as societal beings, we've created tribes, we've created hierarchies, and we have managed to be the only animal in the animal kingdom that nurtures its loved ones for 18 years. You know, when a young giraffe is born, it has 18 minutes to run away from danger. When a young elephant is born, it has 2 hours to literally get its feet on its feet and start looking after for itself. Even though the herds or animals will be looking after it, but when they start running away from a lion, the last man standing is the person that's going to be dinner for whatever the predator is. So as humans, we are hardwired to look after each other. We are hardwired to look after our own. So in that search for meaningful connection, we then tend to personify a lot of things, even the brands we connect with. Have you ever noticed that in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, people really want real connections with people? They don't want to chat to a chatbot. They don't want to talk to a call center in India. They want somebody who will come and knock and sit down with them and handhold them so that they're not making a mistake with whatever purchase that they're making. Even more, a brand's values, if they resonate with their own, or the brand's virtues, they're signaling the same virtues together, the more likely they'll become loyal fans. We saw this during the pandemic, how people were actually connected to the brands and were buying from the brands, in advance, or buying coupons just so that other businesses could stay in business. So your brand is what people say about you, and your marketing is what you say about yourself. Don't you never forget that. And while people are talking about you and you're talking about yourself, love has to exchange or maybe love has to punctuate that conversation. So every interaction with a customer has, with your brand or with your messaging, it literally must strengthen that emotional connection. The more you are deepening the relationships with your customers, the more they will definitely be loyal to you. And when customers are loyal, they actually pay, they stay, and they refer. So that brings us to marketing with love. It is an actual revolution. And like I quoted Tina Turner, earlier, it's got everything to do with you creating a business that's profitable and enjoyable. You're profitable in as much as people are buying from you longer, and it's enjoyable because you're actually doing work that matters for people who care. So no matter where you are in your entrepreneurial journey, you might be a coach that's just giving consulting or training or information or expertise or paid speaking gigs. It could be maybe you're just getting it off the ground, or you're reimagining your business to create, in the new normal that we are in. Marketing with love actually separates you from anybody else who's got a pair of sweatpants and a laptop and some sort of AI content generator who's calling themselves a coach or consultant right about now. It serves the people who want to serve. And I can believe if you're an internet explorer and listening to this podcast, you really want to be there to create for and relate to the audience that you're going to be demanding money off of. So if you tell your story in a compelling way that actually builds trust, you are actually breathing life into your business, and those conversation rates will actually soar. You don't necessarily have to wait on algorithms and maybe trick people with bait switch or clickbait or things of that nature. You no longer have to cold call potential clients just to have them hang up in your face because you've loved them prior. You no longer have to send out hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, or maybe wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But is it worth it? Well, hell yeah. Strap in. I'll show you what marketing with love really is. It is building meaningful relationships. It's offering real value. It's nurturing your clients over trying to sell to them. It's delivering on your promise. It's serving the right kind of people with the right kind of pain so that they will have a happier existence. Look at this. Building meaningful relationships. Wouldn't that be nice, where you come back home to a loving family? You come back home to a loving business. Even if you go on holiday, you have got a business to come back to. Relationships with your customers, relationships with your suppliers, relationships with your employees. And you're actually offering real value. You're not just, putting together crap and hoping that it would sell out there. And you're literally nurturing your audience, helping them understand what it is that you can help them with, and really helping them by actually helping them and not selling. Because you know what? People like buying stuff, but they don't like being sold to. And when you say you're going to show up, you deliver on your promise. And you're serving the right kind of people with the right kind of pain, and literally creating lasting impact and transformations for your business. This is what marketing with love is. On the other flip side, marketing with love is not you maybe grinding out meaningless emails to fill people's inboxes, just spamming people every second day. Or maybe rationalizing pushy sales tactics just to serve your own needs. Not even caring whether what you're putting out there resonates with the audience that you're putting it out there. Or you're executing cheap tricks just to sell a product. Or you're eliminating your fans' needs, to focusing on just your bottom line. Or maybe you're deceiving people about who you are and just hoping they're never going to figure you out. Let me tell you something. We're the most documented generation in the history of mankind. You will be caught out. So I advise you to market with love. Don't sell. Connect. Connect. Right? And you might be thinking, can people love a brand? Absolutely. They do. Each and every brand that you are wearing right now, that's your signal that you love that brand. Have you ever seen people lining up, before an iPhone has been released, or when they're talking about the actual iPhones? And I believe iPhone and Samsung should even stop marketing. You know what? People have already chosen their sides. If somebody's already an iPhone fan, seldom will they switch unless they just, a virtue signal in themselves. Or a psyop, or whatever you call them these days. It's as though the device came from their own flesh and blood. It's as though their mother created this iPhone when they defend it. It's because people love the product. It's because people love Apple. I love Apple, you can tell. I could have said Samsung, but I don't know whether that's purporting to be a phone or a fridge. So people are now connecting with Apple's values, which basically, I don't know if you've seen the 1985 commercial, which purports that here's to those the rule breakers and things of that nature, and they're proud, of what Apple has created. I mean, okay, it might not be that level of pride, but you know what I mean. When branding is done right, people will connect with your brand with something larger than themselves. Starbucks is not just about coffee. It is that third place on your way either to the office or back home. Starbucks represents community. Nike doesn't just sell sneakers or tight pants. They sell leadership. Just do it. People want an emotional connection. A relationship consisting of loyalty, honesty, reliability, longevity, and commitment. And guess what? People are busy. They're not going to wait until you've got it figured out. You just show up with love, give them a hug, and guess what? They will seek you out. But how do you then implement marketing in love? With love, sorry. Because I know, as an entrepreneur, marketing is just one aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, balancing books, driving growth, and a whole lot more of other things. And it all just sort of feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions, doesn't it? At the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients, isn't it? You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving, their problems. And you don't want to waste countless hours each week trying to navigate the whole complex world of online marketing. But if you do it with love, it's so done easy. But let me tell you something, egos, emotions, and numbers, and everything else that comes along with it, algorithms just get in the way. And especially a lot of fear. So many coaches and consultants are afraid of, missing out, afraid, of not doing what's the flavor of that month. And before you know it, they just, spraying and praying and not actually leaving a lasting impact or creating transformations out there. Fear gets in the way. And there's two emotions that are involved, love and fear. But a lot of people choose fear. You know why? Because it's measured. You can't measure a hug. You can't measure a kiss. But you can measure how many people are clicking on your website. So you need to dig deep and determine who you are, what really lights you up, and how you truly help. Just be yourself, man. Be your damn self. And it's a journey, and we totally get it. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't want to go into this whole, fact finding, because they're afraid of the demons they will find in the closet there. But that special source that's inside of you, bro, that special source that's inside of you, sis, it will actually help you, get the most out of all the action and activities that you're putting out there. So if you really want to market with love, you need to develop revolutionary trust. You want to come up with unorthodox empathy. You want to be really bold and authentic. You want to create impactful connection. And you want to have buzzworthy generosity. You see how generous I am every single day with my content, with my information. I'm not holding nothing back. You can literally take all this information, put it into good use, and you can create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. I just so happen to charge if you show up on my doorstep asking me to help you implement it. Like I said, we can then help with the execution. But you need to crawl before you can walk. A strong brand has got roots and knows exactly what it stands for. And it should give people what people are after. You want to get clear on the future that your audience wants to buy. Not the features of what it is that you're selling. Because customers will definitely tell you the future that they want if you pay attention. But you can't pay attention if you're not in love with your work. You can't pay attention if you're not in love with your clients that you're bringing in. If you want to win, let's get to work. I know we're already 16 minutes in. I was hoping I will state my case for love in 15 minutes, and then the next 15 minutes we're really looking at the trust, the empathy, the authenticity, the connection, and the generosity that is required for you to literally create a business that you absolutely love. And like I said earlier on, to build a brand that you're proud of and create a lifestyle that you love. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah? Because I'll tell you something. At the end of the day, what you have created is something of note. Why waste it? I want to ask you a question. What would you do if you had so much demand, for the services that you're offering right now than you could possibly handle? Would you raise your prices? Would you fire lousy clients that don't align with where you are right now in life? Or would you only just choose projects that you absolutely love? Or would you expand your business? Let me tell you, every coach or consultant or small to medium business that we end up, helping, they always just dream of that perfect customer that just arrives from seemingly nowhere, already convinced that they want to buy. And when it all inevitably fails, you know what they do? They just build a website, dance on TikTok, and then post a few memes on social media and wait. You need to create revolutionary trust, unbreakable trust that people will stand in a court of law for. For a lot of years, a lot of marketers, a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants have created highly crafted campaigns with one goal in mind: to just sell, make money, buy, all of that BS. And consumers, we know that's also their main goal. So guess what? Our consumers have become so skeptical of everything, that they see in an ad. Everybody was being told, hey, start a business and then you can, live on a beach somewhere. Have you ever tried putting your computer on at a beach? First of all, there's no Wi-Fi. Second of all, the sun's glares is in your eyes. You can't even see what you're looking at on your screen. And third of all, the sand gets into the computer and then it just jams it up. You know? A lot of marketers or a lot of coaches are going to say that maybe their product or their service is the best on the market. Duh! Didn't see that coming, all right? Of course. Nobody's just going to trust brands that just say, look at me, without some serious proof to back all those claims. Our customers have been lied to. They've been pushed around and taken for granted too long. And they've said, enough is enough. It's time for a change. And guess what? They vote with their phones. They vote with their credit cards now. So all those pushy sales tactics, all that spamming people's inboxes with too many emails that nobody reads and not providing value, that ain't going to cut it anymore. People who continue to do marketing this old way or sales the old way, they're going to be left behind. You know? But you've got to do more than just throw in a few testimonials here on your page and call it a day. Although, yes, social proof does help. Your brand is a promise, and you need to be able to deliver on that promise in every interaction. Have your fans' best interests at heart and show up in a meaningful way. Let me tell you something. There's 3 things that you should never break in life: promises, trust, and somebody's heart. You know? Would you trust your own brand? Right now, I'm asking you, would you trust your own business right now? You know? I want you to ask yourself, and is my offering, really what people are looking for? Is my offering what my fans really need? Can I add anything new to spice it up? Am I creating content that actually adds value? Is my brand story consistent? Am I transparent about my core values, who I am and what I stand for? Because if you don't stand for nothing, you fall for whatever. Am I tapping into the right pain points, to be able to help? Am I who I say I am in person, online, on paper, wherever? And once you've got that in check, you want to show up with an orthodox empathy. A lot of people have been going through a lot. You know? Let me tell you something. Humans are funny little creatures with great big brains. We've taken a person to the moon. Or did that happen? I'm not sure. But our hearts are the decision makers. All right? People logically look at an offer, but they make the decisions with emotion. So most of our choices are based on the feelings, and then we backfill all that with logic. A lot of science has proven it. Trust the science. You did the last couple of years, didn't you? And that's why it's so important to go beyond the product and tap into the reasons and the emotions that your fans desire. I mean, yes, your product or your service, offers a solution, right? It does. I have no doubt about that. But anybody else can do it cheaper, better, faster than you. It's the logical side of the equation that you are pushing to the people. But what emotions actually drive your customers' behavior? What makes them sign the dotted line? So your job is now to actually understand how your fans feel, how your audience feels. And you can't do that if you don't love them, man. You can't understand them if you don't love them. That's the reason why the family unit is such an important example of love. You are given an opportunity to love somebody of the opposite sex. You're given an opportunity to love somebody other than yourself. You're given an opportunity to love something that came out of you, and other things that are connected to you in the form of a family. You can't do that to everybody else. Otherwise, you'll be depleted. So you gotta know your kids. You gotta know your spouse. You gotta know your relatives. You know, and I'm talking about really walking in your customers' shoes to understand their experience and understand how you can actually, help them get what they want. And you don't want to think, you don't want to think just in terms of what will sell the product. You want to think in terms of how can I help my customer by actually helping them. And you want to be the customer. If you can't buy from yourself, my friend, let me tell you something. You're never going to be able to sell anything in the marketplace. So as coaches and consultants, we're actually trained to focus on data, study the data, look at open rates, look at click-through rates and things of that nature. We're not going to lie. We love data as marketers. And data is valuable and powerful, but it must balance with empathy. Data doesn't tell the whole story. All that data in the world can't replace human emotion. You can't download a tweet, my friend. You can't download a hug from a tweet, sorry. You gotta be there. Your audience is human, not just some data point, not just some hashtag. Be empathetic from the start. Start from a place of being a genuine human being, what's and all. I've made mistakes in this podcast. I'm not gonna delete any of them. And I know you're still hung up on when I defined the family concept of, you're supposed to love somebody of the opposite sex. It depends on who you are. You're supposed to love somebody other than yourself. How you make people will ultimately guide their decisions on whether they become your fan, they buy from you, and they stay and they refer. I read somewhere that says we are only feeling machines that think, not thinking machines that feel. So do you actually know what it is that motivates your fans? I want you to ask yourself, am I really focused on the conversations rather than conversions? All right? If you're not including yourselves in the conversations that are happening on the internet or being part of, the decision making that is actually shaping the lives of the people that you want to influence, you, my friend, haven't even started. Because as you know, the internet is actually driven by community, by conversations, and by content. Are you contributing to any of that? Are you treating your fans like you would treat your best friend? Because you need to be going out for the people that you absolutely love so that you can continuously be there for them. It's not a one and done, endeavor. Transformation takes time. So you want to ask yourself, am I pushing my agenda versus listening to who you can actually serve? The most important thing is, are you selling or are you helping? You need to be boldly authentic. You need to show up. Marketing and sales historically isn't authentic. People will just pull wool over your eyes just to get, a sale across. Brands always try to position themselves in the best light. They leave out the beats that may be bad for their image and do everything, they can do to woo customers. But that all has changed. You will get caught out because the world where everyone seems to be selling something online for a few bucks, your fans now crave authenticity. They now crave realness. It's easier said than done, but what's the formula for being authentic? It's always easy to say perfect is boring. Show the real you. Don't act like somebody else you watch on Instagram, yada, yada, yada. But when push comes to shove, it's hard to pin down what being real is. And the reality is that being authentic means being human. All right? It's got nothing to do with being original or unique. Just being human and being relatable. It all boils down to saying and staying true to who you are, what you do best, and who you serve. Not just being a virtue signal. What mainstream media is putting out, you are wearing those colors that week. That's not authenticity. I want you to try this. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at yourself in the eye. Tell your brand story out loud. Do you actually believe what you're saying? Because if not, it's time to do some soul searching and be brave enough to share the real you, what's and all. Because everybody has a unique voice. Find what your unique voice is, and that's where marketing magic happens. It's a very big world out there. You don't have to be everything to everyone. Just be there for the right kind of people with the right kind of pain that your solutions, will solve problems for. There's a lot of competition, and all that competition is noise. But there's enough love for everyone that's willing to show up and do work that matters for people who care. You want to align your mission, your vision, and your purpose together. And then you want to share your story. I promise you, man, you will win the right people's hearts. And if you really notice it, half of the time, you don't even need more than 10 clients. If you've got really good offers, if you've got a really good product, and if you've got a really good message, 10 is more than enough. Just let go of who you think you should be and embrace who you really are. You know? At the end of the day, you will then literally create impactful connection, because in a world of algorithms, hashtags, and followers, and look at me, know the importance of human connection. You know, why are you showing up in the world? Because I'll tell you something, the law of prosperity and generosity is, if you want more, you give more. You can't give more to a lot of people. That's why I gave the example of that household, example. You know, I really, really, really want you to succeed in business. And you need to demonstrate marketing with love to your clients. You know, engage with the people. Be specific. Show up and be consistent. I'll tell you what, you know, there are a million brands out there like yours. What sets you apart in your team is exactly what you need to show up as. That means people need to see consistency in every touch point on all platforms during every interaction. I love you. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au